Not long ago, a friend of mine who is known for condensing any 10-word communication into 200 words plus went to the emergency room with pain. The admitting nurse asked him what his problem was, and he began. He said, "Last week, I was having some bowel problems because I'd strayed from my vegan, gluten-free diet," and then a bunch more words. "And then I haven't been sleeping all that well," a bunch more words. "But at least I'm not suffering from the symptoms of the COVID shot because," and then more words. And he would have gone on all day. At this point, his wife interrupted, put her hand on the counter to get eye contact with the nurse, and said, "Sudden left arm pain, 1 hour." The nurse called for immediate help to get my friend to an examination, testing, and cardiac monitoring. It turns out he was having a mild heart attack, and they were able to treat him appropriately. He could have died from too many words. No kidding. Literally. If his wife hadn't been there, he would have told his whole life story before he got to the pain. So can our kids die from too many words. When children don't feel unconditionally loved by us, often our words are not particularly welcome. Surprise. In fact, when we speak, it feels to them like each word is a bullet, and we're using a machine gun to fire words at them. How? We do it a lot. We see a mess in the kitchen that Billy was supposed to clean up yesterday, and we begin the assault. "Billy, come here. Look at that mess. There are dishes all over the place, and the floor is filthy, and how many times have I told you to do that job before you go to bed at night, and now I have a mess to work in when I try to fix dinner, and I'm sick and tired, and..." Are you tired of me talking? Because I am. And on, and they hate every word. They're so busy hating every word, they don't listen to any of them. It turns out that better communication, more effective communication, rarely involves more words. So how can fewer words be more effective? Find Billy. Don't yell for him. Look into his eyes. You haven't spoken yet. Touch his shoulder and say, "Billy, kitchen now. Clean in 20 minutes. Done. Listen to my tone of voice. Very matter of fact. If he begins to protest that what he's doing is very important, his video game or whatever, you touch him again. "Billy, now." If you're not the least bit impatient, he'll be, 1, incredibly surprised, and 2, much more likely to finish his work than if you yell at him, which just unsettles his whole world and makes it impossible for him to focus. Then later, when the job is done and dinner is over, you take him aside and explain briefly that you won't be nagging him anymore. None. Hallelujah. He simply has to have the kitchen clean by 4 p.m., long before dinner, or whenever you choose, or he won't be eating dinner. Not dinner time, not eating dinner afterward. Kids tend to be motivated by a twinge of hunger. It'll be good for him if he misses a meal. He'll be on time to the next preparation of the kitchen, and he'll be fine until breakfast. The more words we use with our children, the more confused we sound, and the more confused they become. Keep your message short, and your love a constant foundation and background for the words. That is loving and teaching.